it's an abstract thought, but I think sometimes if people treated their partner as good as they treat their dog, then they wouldn't end up single.
Oh, I can't wait to dive into this one.
And it's a little bit different. We'll come back to the article, but I always thought about this because I see people that, or people that own dogs, and you think about it, every day, they feed them 2 or 3 times a day. They not every day, but they give them baths. They're cuddling their dog. They're always petting their dog. They're rubbing their dog's belly. They're taking the dog for walks and giving it treats. And like that stuff's like every day, right? And you think about how much time the average person spends just playing with their dog and giving them attention. And then I see how they treat their spouse or their partner, and it's not even close to the same. It's like, holy shit, you treat that dog way better than you treat them.
Mhm.
And then it's like, whatever. 6 months later, they're single again, or someone gets divorced, and you're like, not surprised. So,
Yeah.
it's a random thing that I've seen over and over again, that we put effort into things and then we don't put effort into other things, and we wonder why those fail. So, ever tell you the Cujo story?
I don't think so.
And I don't have the whole thing on top of my head, but I was listening to a Stephen King. He was at a conference or something, and he was saying like how crazy people are about dogs. And I don't remember the ending of Cujo 100% here. It's a long time since I've dug into that one. But at the end of the movie, I believe a child like suffocates in a car from the heat. And around the same time, I think they kill the dog. And Stephen King's like, here's the funny thing. When that came out, I got way more hate mail about the dog dying
Yeah.
than the child who had to, die in the car. And it's like, what the hell's what's going on with people?
Yeah.
Right then, it's like you think it's like kind of gruesome. You think about a child dying in a car, right, suffocating from heat, and then how like gruesome that would be to watch on TV. But people cared more about the dog. And this is a guy that writes crazy stuff for a living, and
Yeah.
even he's like, "What's wrong with you?" And that was like way back then. You realize like how we are kind of dog crazy. In a sense, I've just known many people that always have treated their dogs better than the human beings around them. What's that? What do you think that says about us?
What do you think it is? Like, what is there something inherent about a dog you think that triggers that in us, James?
I don't know. I'm not saying you shouldn't be nice to the dog. I mean, it's an animal. You should treat them well. I
Yeah.
just find it funny that sometimes I just come across these people that are, I don't know. It's treat people the way you treat your dog, and life might be a little better, just tiny bit,
Yeah.
smidgen better. But
Yeah. Well, just for context, the puppy sales are up 40% this year, which, yeah, pandemic, I get it. Everybody's stuck at home, but we've got $103 billion in annual spend on pet stuff. And for
what?
context, that's a fourth the size of the entire electric power transmission industry in the US.
How much?
103 billion.
Oh,
In Yeah,
103 billion. Jesus Christ.
yeah,
On what? Just dog stuff?
yeah.
Like,
The basically the pet industry.
man, it's one of those things where, hey, we could feed the homeless with that kind of money.
We could do a lot.
You could do a lot. No. Thing is, you go everywhere, there's dogs everywhere anymore.
Mhm.
I remember when I was living in Chicago part time before COVID here. I would walk out of my apartment, and everyone would have dogs. And I always thought having the dog in the city. Actually, you know this.
Yeah.
I always thought having a dog in the city would be a nightmare. Um, when I was little, I had a dog. You opened the back door and he ran out in the yard and did a thing and came back in. But um, I was always disappointed because I was in a nicer area of downtown Chicago, and people would just let their dog shit on the sidewalk and they would just walk off.
Yeah.
Um, and there was a few streets that were just way worse than others, and I'm just like, Jesus, what does it say about us as a society where you think I'm just gonna let the dog shit there and I don't want to pick it up? It's made me not think highly of a lot of dog people. It's like one of those things that if you don't want to take care of it, then you shouldn't have it, right? But man, 100 billion. I'm not surprised because I keep seeing, I don't know about by you, but I can't go anywhere anymore. And it's as common as seeing like dry cleaners now is the pet stores. There's like pet stores, there's pet stores everywhere now. And I get it. We got so many dogs that you need the stores to, you know, supply the stuff for them. And then you start seeing these pet resorts popping up. And I was talking to someone one day and their kids really into pets, and I'm like, you should just don't even go to college. The money you'd spend on college, just take that money and open up a pet resort, and then you know the kid will be happy. A lot of times I think that kid, we go spend 150,000 on a communications degree or something, and we don't even know why we got it.
Yeah.
And you could have took that 150 grand and you could have bought a franchise. In terms of like needing to make money and take care of yourself for life and having an investment, it's almost seems smarter to do something like that. Like, oh, shit, you know, buy your kid a pet resort. You know, it's turn into a little like be a little like doggy slumlord and charge people $50 a day to drop their pets off, and you know, it's an extra $5 for a handful of kibble, and if they want to webcam their dog, charge them an extra $10. And yeah, I'm joking right now. Actually, maybe I'm not joking. I'd probably charge you. Want to watch a dog on camera? It's $10. But like, there's so much money.
Sorry, James, go ahead.
No.
I was gonna say that like I know you're joking, but we have a dog, my wife and I, and when we used to send it to daycare in Detroit, they used to have a webcam that was like part of the thing, and you know, my wife would check it throughout the day, and then the one out here now doesn't, and that was like one of the first things that she noticed was like, hey, well, how come we can't see the dog all day?
They're pimping your dog out right now. What they're doing.
Yeah, that's right.
And they don't want you seeing that. Do they charge you more for the camera?
I don't even remember. What like, such is like my sensitivity to like price and those things, like it wouldn't even matter, James. Like, what am I gonna say? No.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I say like charge $10 more. I'd sell you like tokens. You'd have to like you'd have to like deposit like $20 to get tokens, and then every time you wanted to view the dog, it would cost you like 2 tokens.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do a whole like case study on dog resorts. This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Hey man, if you got $1 billion, you spend $100 billion on dogs right now. Like there's money to be made.
Oh yeah.
So, like the doggy hotel rooms. Like people probably spend more on the doggy hotel room than they do when they travel for a hotel. It's but this all goes back to how well we treat the dogs, and it's just like, wow, man, if we treated everyone around us that good. It's I mean, because I made this joke on my Instagram account one time.
Yeah.
And I'd get some messages back, and I'm like, no, go like, you know, pet your husband on the head and rub his belly and feed him treats and see if he's not a happier dude, right? Like, I don't know. It's have we ran out of dogs yet? Like, we're probably out of dogs.
Yeah, we are. So annual demand apparently in the US is about 8 million. And within the US, we're capable of supplying about 1 million. And then we import, I think, about the remaining 7 million. So, you know, as soon as these other countries stop supplying us, we're a little screwed.
The US imports more than 1 million dogs. Holy shit.
Oh, I might have got that backwards. So yeah, 8 million annual demand. We import 1 million. So
every year we get like, damn, man, it's This explains a lot. Like, it's a it's crazy. I see the millennials were the largest, pet
Yeah,
owners.
yeah.
And when I was writing yet to be published book called Headwind, one of my pieces of advice in that book was don't get a goddamn pet if you're in your 20s. I know like some people hate being alone, and I know having a pet can make you happier. But my thought always was when you're in your 20s, you don't want to go home for lunch to go let the dog out. And when you get off work, you can't go to happy hour with your friends. You can't work late. You can't run right to the gym. There's all these things that you're tied down with this dog, or you got to put it in daycare all day, right? And even then, you got to go
Mhm.
pick it up by. Do not tie yourself down with a pet in your 20s. I've seen a lot of people. It's like I can't work past 5 o'clock. I got to go get the dog, and it's like I wanted to take this trip, but the dog, or I just wanted to take this quick trip this weekend, but the dog, but the dog, but the dog. And it's like, why are you tying your 20s up over a pet? And other pet people are going to go, oh, you don't understand. I'm like, I do understand. I had a dog. It's just that there's things I want to kind of live life uncovered.
Yeah.
If I want to go to lunch with my friends or coworkers, I want to go to lunch. If I want to go to the gym at 5 o'clock, or I want to go to happy hour, you get kind of shackled. And man, don't do that. Dude, if you're feeling lonely, you rent a puppy. You can probably rent a puppy somewhere.
That's another good business.
You probably make a lot of money renting puppies, right? Like, imagine going like old people who are lonely, and then you just show up with like the puppy truck, and they like, and then I talked about getting my dad a dog, but I realized there's no way he'd be feeding it like hot dogs and fish sticks. There's no way but he I know he gets lonely, so I can see where a dog would make him happy. And it's like, man, I'm just gonna pay someone to swing by with a dog twice a week, and you just show up with this little van full of puppies. Holy shit! I mean, that'd be great,
dear.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, don't tie yourself down with a dog, man. Especially if you like to travel, if you got a lot of friends, you want to go do activities. And I mean, what good is it? The dog's by itself for 8 hours a day, and then you're out living life. And how much time do you end up spending with the dog? It's
Yeah. It's true.
do not get tied down with dogs. Cat, you can give it a bowl of water and a big bag of food and come back in like a week, I think. I'm not recommending that. I'm just making shit up right now, but don't get tied down with this. What else we got here?
So a lot of the regulation around, puppy mills and stuff in the US in our pursuit of, doing right by pets is pointed to as some of the reasons why we have the shortage. So then it's an interesting dynamic because we import these dogs. We don't really know the pedigree or like how they were when, raised or brought up in, but we have such strict regulation here. It's interesting, just an interesting industry in general.
That's probably why documented dogs, when I looked it up, are really like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 if you want one that was bred here. That has some kind of paperwork with it, right? Like, it's so crazy expensive.
Yeah.
Is there going to be like, this is peak puppy, right? This is it. This is peak puppy. This is the most, COVID pushed everyone. It was peak everything, right? We bought everything under the sun, including animals. Somewhere right now, some guy probably bought like 3 alligators and he's regretting it. We just bought. You can get. I don't know if you've been in the pet store. I remember like they sold little baby alligators.
Whoa.
Like you can buy anything out there, but whatever it is, we've basically bought it and thrown it away in the last 18 months. We bought so much stuff. So this is peak puppy. So is there going to be a shit ton of puppies on the market like everything else in the next 12 months?
Oh, that's like a boat.
Hey man, like we talked about with boats and RVs and everything else people bought. It's because what happens when we're not locked down anymore and you want to travel again, and then you're like, I got this dog. And
yeah,
I don't know.
An interesting. So this is probably a conversation for another video, but so this quote here, where somebody wrote a book but they're saying pets aren't a fad and we're still in the beginning phases, and that will stun some people with the surge of continuing demand for pets. It's similar to that sentiment that we talked about in the boat video where we talked about boat sales, and there's just this like, I don't know if it's a of illusion or what it is, but there's something going on where people think that like this is not peak puppy. This is like the demand for this stuff is going to last forever. It's just an interesting dynamic. I don't really subscribe to it.
I don't know. You're right, because in the boat thing, they said that these sales they're gonna sustain.
Yeah.
And then from what I'm hearing in the boat industry, that's not true. They're already seeing the dip. And there was like this thing going around that people are starting to like bring puppies to shelters or dogs to shelters and returning the dogs. And then there was a bunch of news that came out and said that's not true. And then I saw actually a credible, like real piece of journalism come out and say, no, yeah, people are starting to bring their pandemic puppies back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, that's surprising. Same thing with the boats, the RVs, the people who bought boats and RVs who weren't really boat or RV people. They only bought it because of the pandemic, and then as that wanes, it's like I'm not really an RVer. Same thing
Right.
with the puppy. It's like, oh shit, what did I do? So we'll see if this is peak puppy or not. But you're right. It seems like everyone thinks that this roller coaster is gonna go straight up forever.
Mm-hmm.
Stock market straight up, sales of all fun stuff going up, puppies going straight up, houses straight up. Nothing goes straight up forever.
Yeah, that's true.
It's this is definitely an alternate reality at the moment, and we have become delusional.
A little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit. It's maybe they're spiking the tap water with magic mushrooms.
Oh dear.
Some things just don't make sense anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot to add about puppies other than treat your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife. I don't know. Treat them like you treat the dog, and
It's good advice.
feed them some treats. Take them for a walk. Rub their belly, and maybe that relationship will last a little longer. I don't know.
Solid.
That's all I got for this one. You know,
All right.